Hey kids, it is June 14th, it's a Sunday, and today I flew to Stockholm for a customer workshop we'll have this week. I'll spend 2 nights here, and I already miss you both very much. Today I want to talk about a book. The book is called How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, and Listen So Kids Will Talk. When the first one of you was born, one of my biggest concerns was not really your physical growth. Of course, that mattered too. But somehow, we felt a bit more confident about that part. But my bigger concern was the psychological side. How do we raise you well? How do we do the right things? How do we make sure we don't damage you emotionally without even realizing it? That was one of the reasons we bought this book. But over time, I realized something interesting. This book is not only about how to communicate with children. It might actually be one of the best personal development books I have ever read. Maybe even the best. Because the lessons in this book are not only relevant for conversations with children, they are relevant for almost every human conversation. And as I read it, I also realized something uncomfortable. I realized that I have made some of the mistakes mentioned in the first chapter quite often. Not only with you, but also with adults, with colleagues, with team members, with people I care about. The core idea of the first chapter is very simple. When children feel right, they behave right. And how do we help them feel right? By accepting their feelings first, not correcting them immediately, not dismissing them, not trying to fix everything too quickly, but first accepting and acknowledging what they feel. Because people behave better when they feel understood first. The problem is that as parents, we often don't accept our children's feelings. Not because we have bad intentions. Most of the time, we mean well. But many of us grew up having our own feelings denied. So we don't always know the right language. For example, a child says, "I hate my brother," and the parent replies, "No, you don't. Don't say that." Of course, the parent doesn't want to hear that. It hurts. It sounds wrong. So we try to erase it quickly. But the child does feel something in that moment. Maybe anger, maybe jealousy, maybe frustration, maybe sadness. And when we deny that feeling, the child feels unheard. Often, they become even more upset. Even worse, they may slowly learn not to trust their own feelings. They may start believing that their inner world is wrong and that they should rely on someone else to tell them what they feel. And that is a dangerous lesson. But this is not only true for children, it is true for adults as well. Imagine something bad happens at work. Maybe you have a difficult conversation with your manager. Maybe you fail in a customer meeting. Maybe you are on stage and you don't do as well as you wanted. You feel terrible. Then on your way home, you meet a friend and you tell them what happened. That friend may really care about you. They may have the best intentions, but still, they might respond in a way that doesn't really help. They might say, "Come on, there's no reason to be so upset." Or, "Well, life is like that. Things don't always turn out the way we want." Or, "You know what you should do? You should do this or that." Or they may start defending the other person, or asking too many questions, or trying to analyze why you feel that way. And honestly, I have done many of these things myself. But personally, when I am hurt, I usually don't want advice immediately. I don't want philosophy immediately. I don't want analysis immediately. I don't want someone to defend the other person immediately. I just want to feel understood. Someone could simply say, "That sounds really hard. That must have been frustrating. I can see why that upset you." That's it. And sometimes, that is enough. I actually caught myself making this mistake recently with one of my team members. He was raising a concern about his role and some changes around it, and I simply told him not to worry. I meant well, but it was still a mistake. Because before reassuring someone, we first need to understand what they are feeling. The better response would have been to acknowledge his concern first, to listen, to understand what was going on in his mind, to make him feel heard before trying to make him feel better. And that is really the heart of the lesson. Before we correct, we need to connect. Before we teach, we need to understand. Before we solve, we need to listen. The book gives 4 simple techniques for doing this. The first is to listen with full attention. Not half listening while looking at your phone, not pretending to listen while preparing your answer. Really listening. Sometimes, even silence is enough. A compassionate silence can say, "I'm here with you." The second is to acknowledge feelings with simple words. Instead of jumping into questions or advice, you can say, "Oh, I see. That sounds frustrating. That must have hurt." Simple words can be powerful when they are sincere. The third is to name the feeling. If someone says they are angry, instead of arguing with them, you can say, "You're really angry," or "That sounds disappointing. That must have been embarrassing. You seem really upset." And maybe they will say, "No, not exactly. I think I'm more disappointed than angry." That's okay. Then they are finding the right words for their own experience. You are not forcing an interpretation on them. You are helping them understand themselves. The fourth technique is to give the person their wish in fantasy. This is especially useful with children. For example, instead of saying, "Stop complaining, you can't have that," you can say, "I know. You really wish you could have that right now." You are not giving them everything they want. You are simply showing that you understand the strength of their desire. And that matters, because emotions often calm down when they are acknowledged. Denied emotions grow louder. And this is not only true in conversations with other people. It is also true in the conversations we have with ourselves. When we deny our own emotions, they don't disappear. They usually become stronger. But when we acknowledge them, we create space. We become calmer. We become wiser. So kids, what I want to say is this. I want to apologize to both of you for the times I dismissed or denied your emotions. I may have meant well. I may have been trying to protect you. I may have been trying to teach you. But I know now that sometimes I was wrong. Your feelings are real. They may not always reflect the full truth of a situation, but they are still real, and they deserve to be heard. I will not always get this right. I am still learning, but I want to become better at listening to you, understanding you, and making you feel safe with your own emotions. Because I love you both very, very much.